Guys, I got I don't know if this is gonna work out or not. I got a message the other day. I was very shocked and surprised. I mean, for some of you guys who have been watching us or listening to the Sons of Montezuma podcast for any length of time, back in the days, you might recognize who this is. But I'm gonna play it. I don't know if this is gonna work. Tell me if you guys can hear this and if you guys recognize who this is.
What's up, Sons of Monty? This is Barry from La Mesa.
Could you get that?
Yeah.
Could you get
Yeah,
that?
Barry from La Mesa.
Yeah, for those of you who know Barry from La Mesa, Barry, you can't forget about Barry, man. It's been a while. He's been, I think they banned him from VA House for a little bit.
I want to get your thoughts on the takes from podcast host and more on Twitter, Tom Moser. First, he said 9 of 11 Mountain West schools would rather have a regular season championship than a Sweet 16. Absolutely insane take. And the second, on Tyson Degenhart, quote, "He is for certain one of the best players in Mountain West Conference history." And when I pressed him, said, "He's top 25, whether you like it or not." Another absolutely brain dead take. Unlike him and Lobo fans, I will shut up and listen. Thanks.
Little shots fired at the Lobo fans. I love it. Barry, appreciate that, man. Call it anytime. You let us know. What do you got to say about that, Fiend? I didn't, we're at the game, so I didn't hear that from.
I remember that tweet from was it Mosier? Is it Tom Mosier?
Yeah.
He. I think it's a ridiculous take. I think any team in the Mountain West would choose a Sweet 16 over a conference championship. Hey, conference championships are great. They're wonderful. You get to hang a banner. It's forever. It's just the Sweet 16 is such to get there. It's so hard to do. A lot of programs. There's several programs that have never done it in the Mountain West. There's several that have not been there in a very long time. So I certainly would take a Sweet 16. I do not agree with that take at all.
Especially the conference is basically being blown up. So it's like, okay, you're gonna have a banner for a conference that's gonna be blown up. Like, come on. All right, I don't know about this Degenhart stuff. I mean, Degenhart, when I heard that, like, Degenhart is a fine player. He's absolutely, he's a baller for Boise, and that's who we got on Thursday. We shut him down that first game to his worst performance in college ever. Second game, much better, but we still pulled the victory off. Still didn't let him get completely wild. Is third time going to be a charm, man? I mean, how do you feel about Degenhart on the pantheon of Mountain West all-timers? I don't know about that.
Well, he's 10th all time in, I guess, scoring, is it? But he, Anthony Dremick from Boise State is, I think, ahead of him with 1,942. He'll probably actually, well, I don't know if he'll pass Dremick in the next game, but yeah, if they get to the postseason, he will definitely. But no, he's definitely, you got to consider him like maybe top 10 because he's been starting for 4 years. Now, have there been better players that have played like 1 or 2 years? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he's been pretty solid for 4 years as a Bronco, and so we have had his number this year, and that's what kind of scares me because he's a good player, and he when he shot threes against us, and he had a lot of open looks that he just missed, and I don't know. We'll see. If he misses those again. I think with this game, my thought is that what Boise is going to do, they shot a lot of threes against us, probably too many threes. Just like I hate us shooting 33s, I think they shot about 30 against us. And they hit like 25% or something like that. I mean, really not a good percentage. But I think that they did that because they had difficulty getting shots in the paint because of Goon. And with the potential of Goon not being in there, I think the strategy for Boise, and this is what I would do if I were Leon Rice, is to attack the paint and really try to get to the rim. and get fouled and get points in a slugfest instead of shooting threes. And I think Degenhart, with his size, he has some good post game that he can do that. And because we do so much switching on, or with small guards that wind up on, I think they'll try to post up more. And so that is the strategy that I would use if I were in their situation, and we'll just see. I mean, if Goon plays, and it's advantage us, huge advantage for us. But if he's out, our bigs are going to really need to step up. Guys like Farrell Compton, who got a couple blocks yesterday, DeMarshe Johnson got a couple of blocks. Like, our bigs are going to have to be huge in this game, because Boise did not shoot well at the rim against us in a combined 2 games. And they did not shoot well from 3-point range. And when you don't score like that, you put yourself in a situation that's a recipe for a loss. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough game. I don't expect it to be like the previous 2 games. I think it's going to be a lot closer. And I expect Degenhart to really go out and really try to have his best game, because, like I said, he doesn't want to go out as a senior, with his last conference tournament losing in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, you cannot be considered one of the top players if you do not win this game. This game on Thursday. Can't happen. Won't happen. So what's the deal with Magoon? A quote from Coach Dutcher says he hasn't done anything in 2 weeks, so we have to start getting him in game shape and see how it responds when he starts doing extra stuff. It all depends on what the rehab is like. Every day is a new day of rehab. So best guess, hey, I don't know. Ziegler says 50-50. I think that's kind of where we all need to kind of put our mind at, whether he's going to be there on Thursday or not. It's a lot to risk, but if he's medically cleared and if he's feeling good, it's been enough time. I think that if he feels comfortable to get out there, it's going to be a fun one. Either way, this team has the ability to take down Boise. They've proven it. They've shown that they can beat the best in this conference if they're playing the right way, if they're playing team ball, if they're playing team defense, like what you're saying, Fiend. Degenhart's gonna go after it, so they're gonna have to be prepared to play that team defense, not having Magoon down there.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I look at with Magoon is, say he comes back Thursday and say we win, you gotta play Friday. Say we win Friday, you gotta play Saturday. You know what I mean? So I know he only missed like 5 games, but still, is his cardio there? Is his physio there? Is he able to? He's not going to play all game. We know that, but can you? Even the guys who are healthy, 3 games in 3 days is a lot on your body. So
that's a great point. That's a great point.
Do you roll the dice and say we're gonna take our chances without you on Thursday, hoping that we win, and then we need you on Friday? That's something that I'm sure you have to take into account, because I know he wants to play. I know we want him to play. I know the coaches want him to play, but the logistics and the logical side of it is, well, hold on now. We got 2:30 on Thursday, and then I don't know if it would be necessarily 6:30 or 9. I think it's 6:30 right on Friday, because New Mexico is 1, we're 4, so we would get them. They would get the early time slot, and then 3:00. That's a lot on your body, man. Even for kids at that age, that peak physicality. Yeah. So that is going to be, and then a knee problem with a guy who's that tall is not. We'll see what happens. They said on the telecast that he's been shooting. He's been doing some stuff. So he has been doing some stuff. I know. He
launched a 3 from half court before the game.
So, yeah, but again, the X factor too is the 3 games in 3 days. You also are playing a Boise State team that knows if they don't win this game, they're done. They know they have to win the tournament to get into the tournament, right? So you have an extra, and Degenhart doesn't want to have the last game be that. I think Degenhart's a great player. I mean, I don't know it's the whole how do you quantify your list of the top players in Mountain West history? Same thing with the 3, my 3 players tonight. You know what I mean? There's the X factor of Wett's only played 1 year. So it's like comparing running backs from different generations. It's tough to do, and everybody's list is everybody's list. So you could, that's why sports is interesting, because you can always have an argument for or against any kind of list you put together for the most part. You know what I mean?
That's great stuff, man. Good stuff to all consider.
Yeah, and I think if he does come back, it's going to be limited minutes. I mean, how many
Yeah.
minutes do you think he's
Yeah.
going to get if he comes back? It's probably only going to be 10 minutes, maybe in a game, I would think. I don't think he's going to play full 20, 25, 30 minutes like his first game back. No way.
No. Well, it'll be a tough decision to make for the coaching staff, for the training staff, and of course for Magoon himself personally. Definitely just want to see him healthy, no
Yeah.
matter what the situation is. And you know, as we honored the seniors, I think it provides a great example to these young guys. And you know, hey, guys like a Wayne McKinney, like a Ferrari, JCJ. You know, these guys playing the bulk of the minutes. They've only been here for 1 year. And that's it, right? There, none of those three guys have any eligibility left or opportunity to play for the Aztecs. So I'm sure the young guys like Magoon sitting there watching that. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to get to that point where he's having a senior night, you know, to be perfectly honest with you. But if he does, or just looking at those examples, hopefully that plants a seed in his mind that, hey, you know, there's more opportunities. There's more opportunities. I want him to be out there only if he feels he's comfortable. So
Yeah. I will say this about and I agree with you 100%. I mean, I don't think that Dutcher is going to sacrifice a player's health
right.
for winning. You know,
Right.
he's always going to err on the side of caution, and he wants them to be healthy because he knows these kids got, you know, bright futures ahead of them. So you don't want to have sacrifice, you know, short-term success for a long-term problem. So, I mean, you know, if he's not ready to go, he's not ready to go. Boise State, interesting. When I think about like who's going to have the big fan base there on Thursday. When they lost to Colorado State, did you hear what their fans were chanting?
No.
They were chanting, NIT, NIT will be back next week. Yeah, over and over and from the stands. So that makes me wonder how many fans from Boise are going to come to Las Vegas. I mean,
Not on a Thursday. Not on a
you remember
Thursday.
you
No.
remember a couple years ago, and I think I shared that photo on X where it was like the entire show section at the Thomas and Mack, and there was like one Boise State fan in the middle of them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's generally how it's been. I don't think they travel as well as New Mexico, Utah State. You know, their fans travel pretty well, especially their student section. But I think we're going to have a home court advantage there at the Thomas and Mack, and I think that could play a huge factor in the outcome of the game, having that momentum, having the, you know, because I saw it firsthand when I was there, you know, for Creighton and Houston and Oregon. I mean, you know, having that Aztec faithful cheering you on in Vegas, it means a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see how many of our fans are able to get out there on Thursday. And, you know, I think that could be a real plus in our favor.
It's tough because they got hot, Boise. They got hot for a little minute, but then you lose that last game and knowing you needed that one. Now you pretty much got to win the whole thing, to be brutally honest. And I agree with you, man. I don't think on a Thursday, I don't think they're going to bring that many fans. If they win 2 games and they're playing in that championship Saturday, then you're going to see an influx of, you know, potato head fans
Yeah.
running in. But I don't think they're going to go out of their way to make that travel. Not like we will. But hey, that's a good point. Got to be there. If you're an Aztecs fan, this is a yearly tradition for us. This is like what Mike, did you say this was like my Comic-Con or something like that, dude? I love this Mountain West tournament, man. I love it. I wouldn't miss it.
It's and that's a great point, Fiend, because that's something that you watch all the games. I don't. So the fact that you caught that's an interesting dynamic of if they're chanting NIT, they're like, well, why would we go to Vegas if they're just going to come back home and play? Like, I mean, Vegas is Vegas, but like, I think a lot of them are like Mormon up there in Boise, right? So they're not really going to Vegas to party and stuff like that. You know what I mean, right? So, I think there's a big Mormon population up there, right? I mean, we love the Mormons. You know what I mean? Not all of them, but some of them.
More
So
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, like I don't like. By the way, I love Dairy Queen. Like we should do a top like your Blizzard. What's your Blizzard order, right? Like that's to me that's an important
Top 3
justification of that.
toppings. Top 3 toppings on your
No,
on the
I just think
Blizzard.
you go your 3 things that you would put in the Blizzard in that situation. You know what I mean? But like you have. It's like when you get married or you're dating someone, you have to understand: do they like it the hot? Do they like it cold? You know, are they morning person or evening person? You know what I mean? Like you justify your friendships with like you have a different taste, but Dairy. By the way, what I'm saying is Dairy Queen is underestimated. So let's not give them the benefit of the doubt, right? You know what I mean? Like that's the best. So,
Alright.
but I think that's a great thought process. Is they're screaming NIT at the home game. Like why everybody would probably be like, why would we miss work and take a weekend to go down there? And they probably think the answer is no. Soccer 96. I'm not okay. There's something going on with me today. So, so they're not going to do that because it's like, well, why are we going to go down there for one day and come back? You know what I mean? So, I like that, dude. That's in-depth analysis that I never thought about. I love that.
Fiendalytics and hard hitting
And
fan
snake
facts.
piss.
And snake piss.
Bro, like, listen, it's been a weekend. So one of my wife's friends was over. She's like say you're like mentally unbalanced or something like that. And I go, dude, I'm like, that's like a normal day for me. Like you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
This is a Sunday afternoon.
So but again, I think it goes down to win your games. Don't allow other people to dictate your future. And you're gonna be okay. And this team is, I think, peaking at the right time. Pharaoh has just looked like a monster. Like they called him a junkyard dog on the game the other night, and I think that's a great analogy. He's just ferocious, and when he goes to the rim and just asserts his presence there, that's a game changer. And I think him and Heidi, JCJ have stepped it up. Obviously, JCJ is more of a perimeter guy than an inside guy, but if you have Pharaoh and Heidi down there, and they're continuing to get better and playing how they're playing, that's a massive advantage for us. And
the guys are finding them too.
Yeah,
Boyd, Bird,
Yeah.
a lot of I'm not gonna totally show the comment on there. I see in the chat, people questioning Bird and like, dude, he does so much though. It's really nice to see him, not completely going out there hunting shots last night, right? He's setting up his teammates. He's getting them easy dunks, easy finishes. And Pharaoh is a tremendous finisher at the rim. You saw DeMarche just jamming things, slamming, doing things. Everybody's playing confident because your guys are getting you the ball in great positions, in high percentage shot positions. So Boyd, Bird, BJ, those guys are so key. Like you can't underestimate their ability to be playmakers, and that's what we're gonna need in this game. That's how Miles, JCJ, and Pharaoh are gonna really take their game up, while Magon is probably not, or 50-50, right? So
yeah, after the Colorado State game, I said on the podcast, I need Pharaoh to start being a dog.
Yeah.
And he's been a junkyard dog, and it's wonderful to see that breakout. So someone's listening, and we just need him to continue that mentality, man. He, with that body that he has, if he has that mentality, that swagger, that sort of controlled anger, he's intimidating, and he can be really, really solid for us these couple games that we don't have Goon playing for us, if he is indeed out. So just love the way that Pharaoh's playing, and the guys are hitting free throws too, which is great. More free throws than they were before. So it shows that, they're working on the free throws, they're working at getting better, and they're showing it. So I'm really excited about, to see him in his hometown in Vegas and what he can do against, a pretty good Boise front line with Stanley and some of the other guys. So it's going to be exciting.
Got to bring that same energy he brought against New Mexico when he lined up across Nelly. You got to bring that same energy as a freshman, big man, especially as a freshman big man. You just bring that energy, bring that motor, and you'll make some things happen. The shots will come. It'll come. Your game offensively, it'll come. Guys, let's get into the comments.